Challenges of Data Quality by Joseph Lynch and Marcy Morales. In Chapter 2, 7, and 8, the readings focused on the use of data in crisis or disaster situations, how to verify the information, what tools can be used to verify the data. Access to information during disasters is equally as important to access to food. Nobody wants poisoned or rotten food, which false information is the equivalent to in humanitarian efforts. A great example of the usefulness of big data was when Filipino government was proactive in a recent humanitarian crisis. 3 days before Typhoon Pablo made landfall in December 2012, the government directly and publicly encouraged Filipinos to use the hashtag PabloPH in Twitter for important updates. Different official hashtags were then used for different purposes, such as hashtag ReliefPH or hashtag RescuePH. Some hazards to these methods include alienating areas with no social media access, such as in the case where no electricity was available, or they did not use social media. Also, false information could send life-saving aid to wrong areas, which is a waste of resources, time, and even worse, can be deadly. Another interesting issue is targeted to our responsibility with big data and our obligation to protect and use it wisely. A suburban New York newspaper provided the names and addresses of all citizens who held handgun permits, including police officers and prison guards. You can guess the safety risk that was posed there. In 2009, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency discreetly hoisted 10 red weather balloons across the United States. They offered $40,000 to those who could identify the location of all of them. An online platform was created so that the $40,000 could be distributed equally to the winners. Riley and his team from MIT created an online platform where you could monetarily incentivize digital volunteers so that they could spot the red balloons across the country. They would pay $2,000 for the person who found the balloon, $1,000 for the person who recruited the person who found the balloon, and $500 for the person who recruited the person who recruited the person, so on and so forth. Astonishingly, it took 8 hours, 44 minutes to locate all 10 weather balloons across the United States. And this was all done without ever leaving his office. When he was nationally praised, he responded with a disclaimer, and I quote, "Well, the reason it took us so long was because the other university teams were planting fake pictures of red balloons and sharing them on social media, so we had to spend some time verifying each and every clue." Nevertheless, all 10 balloons were found despite the fact that Twitter and other social media platforms can be biased, unrepresentative, discriminatory, and plagued with false information. So some of you are going to either love us or hate us for this slide, but I do believe that the point that will be made is valuable. In this chapter, there was a study that was discussed, and it was called Predicting Information Credibility in Time-Sensitive Social Media. And essentially what it was is that it was a study that looked at over 200,000 disaster tweets from the Chilean earthquake and identified 16 features that tend to distinguish credible tweets from non-credible tweets. For example, users who spread credible tweets tend to have more followers. They tend to have more references to URLs. Um, they also have a fraction of tweets containing a user mention. They look at the average length of tweets. Are there question marks? Are there exclamation marks? On a side note, are there lots of exclamation marks? Are there lots of question marks? Any smiling emoticons? And you could look at this complete list on page 149 in the Digital Humanitarians book. So my question to you, or my challenge to you, is taking politics out of this. When you look at the tweets done by our President Trump, do you feel that based on these 16 features that he would be considered credible or non-credible just based on the 16 criteria that are mentioned? Feel free to post on Yellow Dig, or you can just keep your opinions to yourself.